Every person you meet has a secret they think they've hidden. But if you're an INFJ, you already know it. You don't need evidence or proof, you just know. This isn't intuition. This is the psychological reason your brain is wired to detect every single lie, inconsistency, and hidden agenda. Today, we're breaking down the cognitive functions that make you impossible to fool. By the end of this video, you'll understand why your detection abilities are actually sophisticated cognitive processing, and why trying to fool an INFJ is basically impossible. Before we start, please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, so you won't miss any of our weekly deep dives into the world of personality types. If you are looking to achieve a deeper understanding of yourself and your personality type, click the link in the comments to take our free personality test. The Introverted Intuition, Extroverted Feeling Detection System. Let's talk about what's really going on when an INFJ instantly knows something's off. It's not magic or some mystical sixth sense. It's two cognitive functions working together, like a high-tech security system that constantly scans for threats and inconsistencies. Your dominant function, introverted intuition, operates like pattern recognition software running in the background of your mind 24/7. While most people process information linearly, introverted intuition is constantly connecting dots across time, looking for patterns and spotting when things don't fit. It's like having a mental database that automatically cross-references everything you see and hear against thousands of stored behavioral patterns. But pattern recognition is only half the story. Your auxiliary function, extroverted feeling, creates emotional baselines for every single person in your social circle. Within minutes of meeting someone, your extroverted feeling has cataloged their normal emotional signature, how they typically express joy, frustration, excitement, or stress. This isn't conscious analysis, it's automatic emotional mapping. Now here's where it gets interesting. When someone lies to you, their emotional state shifts even if they're trying to hide it. Deception creates internal stress, and that stress has an emotional signature that's different from their baseline. Your extroverted feeling picks up on this emotional shift immediately, while your introverted intuition recognizes that the pattern doesn't match what you'd expect from this person in this situation. It's like having two security systems cross-referencing each other. System 1 says this person's emotional state just changed in a way that doesn't match the situation. System 2 says this behavior doesn't fit the established pattern for this individual. When both systems flag the same interaction, you get that instant gut feeling that something's wrong. Think of it like advanced airport security. Most people have basic metal detectors, but INFJs have full body scanners, thermal imaging, and behavioral analysis all running simultaneously. You're not just hearing words. You're analyzing microexpressions, voice tone changes, breathing patterns, and energy shifts, all while your brain compares this data against your stored knowledge of how this person behaves typically. The reason you can't always explain is that you conclude this processing happens faster than conscious thought. Your introverted intuition has already spotted the inconsistency, and your extroverted feeling has detected the emotional shift before your thinking function can articulate what's wrong. That's why you'll say things like, "There's something about this situation that doesn't feel right, but I can't put my finger on it." Most people dismiss these feelings as intuition gone wrong, but you're actually picking up on real data. When someone constructs a lie, they have to hold multiple pieces of information in their mind simultaneously. The truth they're hiding, the false story they're telling, and the emotional management required to sell the deception. This cognitive load creates detectable changes in their behavior that your introverted intuition, extroverted feeling system identifies instantly. What makes this even more powerful is that your system gets more sophisticated over time. Every interaction adds data to your pattern recognition database. Every person you meet expands your understanding of human behavioral norms. By adulthood, you've essentially trained yourself to be a human lie detector without even trying. The fascinating aspect is that this detection system works even when people aren't deliberately trying to deceive. If someone's being inauthentic or performing a social role that doesn't match their true self, your introverted intuition, extroverted feeling system spots the incongruence. You're not just detecting lies. You're detecting any form of behavioral inconsistency or emotional dishonesty. But pattern recognition is only part of the story. Your brain is also running a completely different detection system that most people are unaware of. The Microexpression database. While your introverted intuition and extroverted feeling systems are running their pattern analysis, your brain is simultaneously operating what I call a microexpression database. This is where INFJs become almost impossible to fool, because you're unconsciously cataloging baseline behaviors for everyone in your social circle. Here's how it works. Within the first few interactions with someone, your brain automatically records their standard behavioral patterns. How they typically hold their shoulders when relaxed, their default facial expression when listening, the way their voice changes when they're excited versus when they're stressed. You're building a comprehensive behavioral profile without even realizing it. Microexpressions are facial movements that last less than a quarter of a second. They occur before someone can consciously control them and reveal their true emotional states. While most people miss these completely, your brain is designed to catch them. When someone says they're fine, but their jaw tenses for that split second before they smile, you register it. When someone claims to be happy, but their eyes remain flat, you notice the disconnect. But it goes beyond facial expressions. You're tracking breathing patterns, voice pitch changes, hand movements, and shifts in posture. Deception creates physiological stress, and stress manifests in detectable ways. Someone might rehearse their words ideally, but they can't rehearse their nervous system's response to lying. Let me give you a concrete example. Imagine someone you know well tells you they spent the weekend working on an important project. But as they're speaking, you notice their voice is slightly higher than normal. Their hands are moving more than usual. They're blinking more frequently. Individually, these might mean nothing, but your brain has thousands of hours of data on this person's standard behavior patterns. Your microexpression database instantly compares what you're seeing now against their established baseline. The conclusion? Your gut feeling that something's off isn't mystical intuition. It's your brain detecting multiple deviations from established behavioral norms and flagging the interaction as potentially deceptive. This system becomes incredibly sophisticated because you're not just tracking individual expressions. You're monitoring sequences and combinations. You know that this person typically scratches their neck when they're thinking, but touches their face when they're nervous. You know their laugh sounds different when it's genuine versus when it's performed. These behavioral signatures are impossible to fake consistently because most people don't even know they have them. What makes this particularly powerful is that your database is constantly updated. Every interaction refines your understanding of someone's behavioral patterns. If they start acting differently, you notice immediately because the new behavior doesn't match your stored data. This is why INFJs often sense when someone's going through something difficult, even when that person hasn't said anything about it. The fascinating part is that deception has its own physiological signature. When someone constructs a lie, they typically experience increased cognitive load. They're managing the truth, the false story, and their emotional response all at once. This mental juggling act creates detectable stress markers that show up in their body language before they can control them. You might notice someone's breathing becomes slightly shallower when they're being dishonest, or their posture becomes more rigid, or they start using more hand gestures than usual, as if they're trying to sell their story through physical emphasis. These changes occur automatically because lying is a neurologically demanding task. Your brain doesn't just notice these changes, it also recognizes patterns in how different people respond to deception. Some people become more animated when lying, while others become more subdued. Some people avoid eye contact, while others maintain excessive eye contact. Your microexpression database tracks these individual deception patterns, making it increasingly difficult for specific people to fool you over time. This brings us to the most sophisticated detection mechanism of all: the ability to see through social masks and identify when someone's authentic self doesn't match their presented persona. The persona inconsistency trap. Every person presents different versions of themselves depending on the social context. We all have our work, our family, and our friends. What makes INFJs exceptional is their ability to track consistency between someone's words, emotions, and past behavior across all these different contexts. Maintaining a false persona requires a tremendous amount of psychological energy. When someone's performing a version of themselves that doesn't align with their core personality, they have to work constantly to maintain that performance. This effort becomes visible to anyone paying attention, and INFJs are always paying attention. You use your understanding of human psychology to predict how someone would authentically respond in a given situation. When their actual response doesn't match your prediction based on their established personality patterns, warning bells go off. It's like having an internal behavioral model for each person in your life that instantly flags deviations from their authentic character. Authenticity feels safe to INFJs, while performance feels threatening. This isn't because you're judgmental. It's because your brain is wired to detect incongruence. When someone's words don't match their emotional state, or when their current behavior contradicts their established values, your system registers it as potentially dangerous. The emotional toll of maintaining false personas also becomes visible over time. Deception is psychologically exhausting. People who consistently present inauthentic versions of themselves often show signs of this fatigue. They might seem more irritable than usual, or their energy might feel forced rather than natural. Your extroverted feeling picks up on this emotional strain, even when they're trying to hide it. This directly connects to your core value system regarding truth and genuine connection. INFJs don't just prefer authenticity, you need it. When someone's being authentic, their words, emotions, and actions align, creating a sense of harmony that your system recognizes as safe. When these elements don't align, you experience psychological discomfort that motivates you to either address the inconsistency or distance yourself from the person. So there you have it. Your ability to see through deception isn't paranoia or overthinking. It's a valuable skill. It's advanced cognitive processing working in perfect harmony. Your introverted intuition and extroverted feeling system pattern recognition, microexpression database, and persona consistency tracking all operate simultaneously to give you detection abilities that most people simply don't possess. Trust this system, even when others dismiss your concerns. Your brain is processing real data that others are missing. This ability serves to connect and protect, not to judge. Click the link in the comments to take our favorite free personality test. And if you want to continue the journey to understanding yourself or an INFJ in your life, click either of the following videos, where we continue to unlock the secrets of the INFJ personality type.